Hello again, and long time no see. This is Old School from WhatTheBuck.net reporting. I want to apologize for the hiatus on YouTube. I had some personal things that had me on the West Coast, but I'm back now, and the show's back. We were live last night, Thursday. I want to get you guys up to speed with some things that are going on, as well as poke fun at myself for my ridiculous prediction, or what turned out to be a ridiculous prediction in the Magic game, though I know that's not Bucks focus. We do talk about local Central Florida sports, including the Orlando Magic, who I've been a longtime fan of. But first and foremost, I want to let you guys know that the Bucks did announce yesterday that the training camp will be open to the public starting August 1st with a morning practice, and that evening they'll have an evening practice actually at Raymond James Stadium, which will be free to the public, and you'll be able to pick a seat. They are really hard up for season ticket holders, so if you're a local person and you want to get a shot at some season tickets, you've been waiting for a long time, now is the time to strike if you want to get in on that. They've got a bunch of great packages, but I know that training camp being open is going to be great for us. We're going to try and do a week of broadcasting there as well. We're not sure what the setup will be, but as soon as we know, we'll let you know. We'll try and do our blog like we did last year after morning and after afternoon sessions as well. FanFest as well for local folks is going to be open from 9:30 to 2 o'clock on June 13th. Now, on the show last night, there were a couple things we covered. They declared it Raheem Morris Day in Irvington, New Jersey, and Raheem managed to get up for that. But in other news, Aaron Sears is really the big topic down here in Tampa, and his absence from OTAs after the mandatory segment. There was a report from PewterReport.com that this was complications as a side effect of a concussion that he suffered, but no one else is really talking. Raheem Morris came out and said this is a personal matter, and he's not going to talk about it. Players on the team have said the same thing, including Davin Joseph, who said that he seems fine to him, but this is between him and the team, and it's personal, and he'll come back when he can come back. Now, as a former high-round draft pick and a heck of a young talent, we hope Aaron's doing well personally. We also hope he gets back into camp. Jeremy Zuta's been taking his number one reps, which is good for us. We had depth in that regard, but bad for us in that Aaron Sears is a heck of a talent. You didn't hear his name called quite often, and that's a good thing when you're an offensive lineman. In other line discussion, Styles G. White, formerly Greg White, was out of OTAs with injuries sustained in a motorcycle accident. The accident was not significant enough or was obfuscated enough so that there wasn't a police report filed. But Styles has reported that he's fine and he'll be back in camp and everything will be fine. Of course, local media is jumping all over this, saying this is the impact of Kellen Winslow. I think that Kellen Winslow would have to be in town more often than he is to cause that to be an issue. Additionally, Chris Hovan came out on Tampa Bay TBO.com the other day and said that he's bulking up to try and fit better into the scheme with Bates. There's some discussion about the difference in the way the line is going to set up in this defense versus the traditional Tampa 2 set, with Chris using his quickness to get into the gaps previously versus now where he's going to be head up on an alignment. He's going to try and get up to about 310, 315. He is apparently one of the strongest guys in camp in upper body strength, so now it's just a matter of getting some more bulk so that he can carry on throughout the rest of the game and last longer. Now, we do a pretty heavy D-line rotation, but the D-tackle spot obviously isn't quite as deep, so the people that will be spelling him are not going to get into the game with the regular frequency. Now, with regards to other news around Bucks camp, there's a report on Bleacher Report, if you guys haven't seen that, on rating the running games of different teams. The Bucks ranked very, very very low, I apologize. But it seemed anomalous to me because the comment was made about Ernest Graham not getting tailback carries because he's going to be a fullback. It seemed as though the person who wrote the article did not follow the Bucks. The only reason Ernest Graham took fullback snaps last year is because we had no choice. This year, B.J. Askew is coming in healthy. We have Jameel Cook on the roster. I'm hoping we're going to upgrade that backup fullback spot. There was a rumor out about Mike Pittman potentially coming back to Tampa in a fullback capacity. I know he played most of his career as a tailback, but when he did go into duty as a fullback, he was knocking people out of the blocks, and I think would be a clear upgrade to Jameel Cook. But I think with the running game this year is one of the high spots that we've got to look forward to. We got Derek Ward coming over as a free agent with him and Ernest Graham in the backfield with B.J. Askew as long as he can stay healthy, and that offensive line that we've got, especially with them moving to the zone blocking scheme. I think the offense should put up much better rushing totals and be more consistent. And Jeff Jagodzinski, the offensive coordinator, certainly is going to use that. And he thinks that the success in the offense will be predicated on that successful running game, setting up play action for whoever is our quarterback, whether it be Luke McCown or Byron Leftwich. And we're all hopeful, or at least I'm hopeful, that Josh Freeman won't sniff the field other than in preseason. One other note, there's some battles going on in the defensive secondary. Obviously, there's some opportunities to upgrade there. We don't have a whole lot of depth. We got Biggers in the draft, but other than that, there's not a lot of people whose names you would know beyond Talib, Rondé Barber, and then Torrey Cox, who's a longtime Buccaneer and who's going to try and stick on as well. We've been fortunate enough to have him on the show a couple times. He's a heck of a guy, and we're hoping he can do well. But one other guy you may have remembered from last year was Albert Mack, EMAC, and he was asked, what's the difference coming into this year versus last year, and this was his response. I thought it was terrific.
I'm probably not starstruck about seeing anybody or anything like that, but I mean, once you get out there, it's playing football. It's something I've been doing my whole life, and I'm just trying to approach each day. I'm trying to get better in film. I'm trying to understand defenses and understand where I can make plays and where I can't make plays. Corners are always on the island, regardless of what defense you're in. I mean, cover two, sometimes you're going to have some over-the-top help, but, I mean, you're still out there by yourself, and, you still got to execute, and, it's going to be more of a up-in-your-face type tempo with Bates, but still playing football. Corner's got to make the plays, got to stand up on the edge.
So that's EMAC talking about what it's like to be a corner. We're hoping to see big things out of him this year. He showed some flash last year in preseason. Hopefully that will convert onto the field. Hopefully Raheem Morris and the rest of the coaching staff can get some of that talent out of that cornerback group. So that's sort of the updates from us here at What the Buck. Obviously the Magic in the finals. This is a little bit off topic for us typically, but a longtime Magic fan hoped that the Magic would come out and play well last night. They did in the first quarter. Then they got away from what they normally do. People claim that the Magic are an outside-in team. I believe that is, patently unfair. The Magic offense, when working at its best, goes through Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard gets the ball, looks for the move, sets to the cut. If the cut's not there, he kicks to the perimeter. If there's rotation, the perimeter rotates the ball on the offensive side looking for the open shot. Last night, Howard went 1 of 6 from the floor. The Lakers' front line did a great job of making things difficult. Patrick Ewing's got to work with Dwight to use that drop step to the baseline more often instead of dropping into the middle where there's help and drawing the fouls. They got the Laker bigs in foul trouble early and then never went back to it, and I think that's on both the coaching staff for not going back to Dwight early as well as on the perimeter players for when they made their move and cut. Instead of driving all the way to the basket and trying to draw the foul, they went and pulled up for a 15 or 17-foot jump shot when they just flat out didn't need to. They've got to get Bynum and Gasol and Lamar Odom into foul trouble, which they started to do last night. And Dwight Howard's got to play his game. He's got to continue to be aggressive on both the offensive and the defensive ends of the floor. Regardless of foul situation, Gortat has proven to be an admirable backup, played very, very well last night in relief of Dwight Howard. And when Dwight's not playing at 100% Dwight, we don't stand a chance. But I think if you've watched the Magic, you know that they're not going to crumble. You hope they're not going to crumble, and I believe they're not going to. I think they're going to come back and play well in Game 2. I think we're going to see a lot of Dwight Howard, and hopefully they're going to end up splitting the 2 games in L.A. and coming back to Orlando to excite us again and hopefully give us a good run in the playoffs, or in the finals, rather. So that's the report from whatthebuck.net. Again, check out the podcast. We'll be live again next Thursday night, hopefully with one or more special guests. Thanks for tuning in, and please feel free to rate. Take care.